So Barry, you've been on the job now about 8 months, been in the spotlight. How do you feel about your start?
Well, I'm starting to feel very good about it, David. I mean, I think, I really believe people don't really understand citizens that well. I don't believe that they really understand what we've accomplished. And certainly I think, particularly given some of the recent press, they don't really understand the big picture in terms of what we're trying to do to fix, citizens, internally. They brought me in for a reason. They brought me in because Citizens has some really significant issues, both internal issues and external issues. I believe the board chose me originally, Dave, because I've done it before. I've taken on huge challenges with large companies, and I've responded to those challenges, and I've fixed the problem. There's no question that Citizens had huge problems, and I've devoted myself from the day I arrived to fix the problems. And of course, recently, last week, we finally decided to get this, we've got to get this behind us so we can focus on the future. So we released every single one of those 474 incidents. We obviously took the names of the employees out, but in order to really generate complete transparency, we want to make sure people understand what Citizens was, what those incidents were, so we could focus on what we have done to fix it, to fix that culture. Slowly but surely, we started putting the process in place. We put the people in place, to fix the issues. And today, we just simply have a much, much stronger organization that's capable of addressing, the type of issues that we released last week.
The Inspector General has also looked at the travel and meal expenses and was critical of that. The $633 a night hotel stay has gotten a lot of attention.
Right.
What have you done to make sure that that's not going to happen again?
Well, obviously, I appreciate the question, because I think one of the biggest areas where we've made, significant strides is in that arena. Almost immediately, within 60 days, really, of assuming the responsibility, I changed the travel policy. The old policy was, quote, reasonable and appropriate. That was the standard. Now, reasonable appropriate for you, and reasonable appropriate for me, and reasonable appropriate for someone else might be very, very different. But that was the standard. What the Office of Inspector General clearly said is that no one did not comply with the standards that were in place at the time. The issue was, it was the wrong standard. So what I did initially was I did two things. One, I put in a new standard that had caps on hotels, that had caps on meals. So it came closer and closer to the state, program. So we implemented that in October 24th of last year. So that's been in place for a long time now. And then for out-of-state travel and for international travel, we implemented the Department of State standards, which are the same standards, by the way, that our own Department of Agriculture uses when they travel, internationally. So we not only put new standards in place, I changed the process. So today, not one employee can travel out of state or internationally unless I pre-approve, before the trip takes place, I personally pre-approve that travel. Not only that they can make the travel, but also what is it going to cost? What are the airfares? What kind of hotel they're going to stay in? What kind of, estimated, cost will they have for meals, et cetera.
Another issue that's come up that's been described as giving folks big pay raises, as much as $31,000. Are you going to have to take back those raises?
No, I don't believe so, David. It's certainly not my recommendation. Let me give you a little background on the raises. To start with, go back to the beginning of this interview. The first thing we did was basically eliminate the head of administration. And when we eliminated the head of administration, that was roughly a $220,000, $230,000 cost. What I decided to do is permanently eliminate that job and take the responsibilities of that job and assign them to 4 people. One of the issues that we do have, and we shared this with the board last year, in I believe the September board meeting, we showed a compensation package basically that shows at the executive level, we are way, way behind market. And we have some tough talent challenges, and the only way we're going to solve those challenges, we're going to need good people.